Hey guys, how's it going? So maybe some of you noticed that I didn't actually put up any video on Amir Khan deciding to choose Chris Algieri as his next opponent. I just sat back and I watched everybody else's videos. People basically covered the topic, quite extensively in the YTBC, and I was okay. But see, when you're suffering from delusion and it becomes clear that your fan base is also beginning to suffer from the same delusions, they're going to force my hand in the end. And the reason I talk about them forcing my hand is that while I'm going through my inbox and I'm reading messages, of course, because, I get a certain number of messages every single day. And, I come across a few messages from diehard Amir Khan fans, what you might call Khan-gressmen. These are people who really do lobby for Amir Khan. And right off the bat, as I was reading these messages, instantly, I knew most of these guys have actually starved their brains of oxygen, and I couldn't really take most of it seriously. It was clear that they were lacking oxygen. But there was one particular message which absolutely did it for me, and is the reason why I'm making this video. Insanity is actually contagious. These people have been watching an individual who currently goes by the name of Amir Khan, and I'm noticing that it's rubbing off on some of his most hardcore fans. Now, I kid you not, but this person sent me a message. I'm not going to reveal his name. So this person sent me this message where he basically made excuses as to why Amir Khan didn't have to fight Kell Brook, saying things like, Amir Khan doesn't have to fight him. Belts don't mean anything in boxing. The IBF title doesn't mean anything. Kell Brook doesn't deserve the fight with Amir Khan. He's not fighting the kind of competition that would deserve an Amir Khan fight. So here we have an individual quite literally making excuses for a man who currently goes by the name of Amir Khan. And for those of you wondering why I keep saying a man who currently goes by the name of Amir Khan, you must understand that there is another Amir Khan out there who is much more famous than the one in boxing. So when you understand that, you might realize that a guy who is just as delusional as Amir Khan, the boxing one, could very easily decide to be going by a different name 5 to 10 years from now, because we just don't know what this man does. We just don't really know what is going through his mind. So who knows what he's going to be called 5 to 10 years from now. So that's why I keep saying a man who is currently known by the name of Amir Khan. Now, this Khan-gressman who sent this message to me goes on to then say, right at the end of the message, Amir Khan has every right to choose Chris Algieri as his next opponent because Mayweather picks and chooses his opponents. And now we begin to see that the brain of the person who sent this message is quite literally decomposing within his skull as he typed this message to me. Because what other explanation can there be for somebody sending some kind of message where you're trying to make an excuse for Amir Khan not fighting Kell Brook, and then at the same time saying it's justified because Mayweather picks and chooses? First and foremost, when you talk about Mayweather and Amir Khan in the same sentence, then I already know that that's proof of delusion. Because one of them has reached the pinnacle of boxing and the other one is still trying to make a name for himself, although he's delusional. That's the difference. So you see, with Mayweather having all these world title fights and beating all these world champions and just winning in such a fashion that he's done, to reach the pinnacle of this sport now, to be the pound for pound #1 and to really be the mythical king of boxing, comparing him to a guy like Amir Khan is asinine, it's childish. It's really something only a savage would do. And I think it's an exercise in foolishness. But it's also proof that insanity is contagious, because Amir Khan thinks he's at the same level as a Manny Pacquiao. He thinks he's at the same level as a Floyd. So of course his hardcore fans who refuse to drink the daily required limits every day will also think that Amir Khan is at the same level. So they'll compare him with Floyd, they'll compare him with Pacquiao, they'll compare him with all these other guys who have actually accomplished something in boxing. For somebody to really make excuses as to why Amir Khan doesn't have to fight Kell Brook is something which I can't even fathom why somebody would even do something like that. And this is why I find it very hard to comprehend the message. I find it very difficult to fathom why this individual sent this to me, thinking that he had actually made some kind of a point in this message. The fact on the situation is this: Amir Khan has really picked Chris Algieri as his next opponent, thinking this will get him a fight with the winner of Mayweather versus Pacquiao. Now, if this is not evidence of a very, very severe form of dehydration, I don't know what it is. How on this particular planet will a fight with Chris Algieri get you a Mayweather or a Pacquiao fight? How is that even possible? And see, the thing is, I'm talking about Chris Algieri. We really need to define these terms. You see, when somebody says the name Chris Algieri, What they're really saying is a code name for an individual who quite literally is a nutritionist. You see, this is the type of nutritionist who doesn't make weight. This is really a code name for a man who was truly dropped 6 times. This is a code name for somebody who quite literally was still having 8-round fights just a few years ago. The Incredible Hulk will never be as green as Chris Algieri. The man is so new to this stuff, and to imagine that this is a guy who Amir Khan has decided to fight in order to get himself a fight with the winner of Mayweather versus Pacquiao is the biggest proof of a delusion. And the fact that one of his hardcore fans would send me this message as some kind of way to excuse Amir Khan and justify his decision is truly a sign of contamination. It's a sign of a decomposing brain. It's a sign that insanity is truly contagious. That is my belief. Now, one thing we must understand about Amir Khan, which is one of the things which makes me physically sick about this individual, is that he will sometimes even use his religion as a reason why he can't fight Kell Brook. But see, he's still able to get in there with Chris Algieri. I'm thinking, how on earth is it possible on this particular planet? I don't know about any other location, but on this planet, how do you think you're going to beat Chris Algieri, who is the softest touch possible? And that will actually get you this fight with Mayweather or Pacquiao. You see, it's very difficult for me to even comprehend the decision process, the thought process of Amir Khan. It's very difficult for me to do this. You know, and the irony of the situation is the person says in the message that I should stop making videos about Amir Khan. But when you send that kind of message to me, you see, this is why you're doing it so backwards right now. When you send a message like that to me, which is going to make me physically recoil from my computer screen, reading the nonsense that you've sent me, you're going to make me make a video about Amir Khan. And therein lies the classic buffoonery of a Khan-gressman who doesn't even understand what he's campaigning for. He says, stop making videos about Amir Khan, sends something so ridiculous to me that is only going to make me make a video about Amir Khan. So well done. Thank you very much. I hope you guys enjoy the video. Have a good one, and I'll see you in the next one.
Longevity, I gotta get used to making you mine. You telling me I only get used to living is fine. You can never live in my shoes, permanently picked from God. When the sun goes down, I scream loud, sleep when I die.